So hi everyone, today we would be looking at the concept of load balancer. In the previous video we looked at proxies, how proxies work, the reverse proxy, forward proxy and Nginx. So we have been talking about load balancer since the first video and I have been telling you that we will be talking about in future. So today is the day. So let's take a very simple example of how load balancer work. What is a load balancer? So imagine you have two clients here. Let's say you have three clients here and you have four servers here, 1 2 3 4, and then you have these clients communicating. So how will these clients communicate? Let's say this is to this, one to this, one to this, or maybe one to this, one to this. But just think like this: if there are multiple servers, if there are multiple servers and there are also multiple clients, let's say you have one more client here, you have one more client here, then how will things work? Because suppose if this is communicating to this is communicating to this, third is to third and fourth is to fourth, where will the fifth one go? For that sake we have a load balancer concept. We have a concept of load balancer. Now just look carefully how things work. Now these are client and these are servers, so and this is load balancer. Now clients will give all their requests here and accordingly it will assign the requests. Now there can be multiple ways of assigning these requests and we will be talking about how the load balancer actually uses the server selection strategy. Now for now, think of a load balancer as a type of reverse proxy that distributes traffic across the servers, that distributes the traffic across the server, and the load balancers can be found almost in every part of a system, from the DNS layer to all the way to the database layer. Here you can see itself, the load balancer is the one that is connecting the clients to the servers. Now let's look at how actually a load balancer can select. So we will take another example. Let's say let's say there is a concept called server selection strategy. Now this is a very important concept because this tells how a load balancer chooses servers when distributing traffic among multiple servers. Now think like that: you have two servers here and two clients here, and let's say three clients and two servers here, and here is the load balancer. Now it will be distributing traffic like this, and these are the servers, this is the load balancer. Cool. So now let's take the first concept of round robin, known as RR. Now how round robin is going to do things here? Suppose the first client is available, comes here and it says, okay, go to server 1. Second client comes, it goes to say the load balancer tells go to server 2. Third comes, it will again send to 1. So this is how you do round robin. Now there is also a selection called random selection strategy. In this concept, basically when client comes, it can randomly assign any of the server to the client. Now this selection strategy is basically not used in the systems majority of times because this can cause performance performance decrement. So one of the best strategy which I actually like is it's called, let me take, and it is called performance based. So how does performance based works? So imagine you have clients here, 4 clients and 2 servers. Now you also have a load balancer here, and all the requests are coming and going. Cool. So suppose when the first client comes and asks the server, I want a server, so load balancer will assign it to server 1. When second comes, it will assign to server 2. Now when third comes, you see that the first is performing at 50% efficiency and second is performing at 30%. So the client, the load balancer will say, okay, according to it, I will assign you to server 1 because its performance is much better than server 2. Now when when client 4 comes, at that time things change. This 50% become, let's say, 20%, and it is still 30%. So at that time the load balancer will assign it to server 2 because its efficiency is 30%. So this is how performance based selection happens. Similarly, you have one more technique. And that's known as IP based. It's known as IP based. You have clients here and you have two database server. Now when the client comes for a request, the load balancer will look at, okay, you are from this particular IP address, let's say X, so I will assign you India, the Indian database. You will get the request from there. Now suppose this particular comes from Y, so you will get the database according to let's say US. So I will get the request for you from US. Suppose Z comes, it is also from from near the place where X is located, so it will again assign it to India. So this is a very basic concept of how IP based works. So these are the 4 type of strategies I have told you. Like, these are very commonly used ones. There are multiple number of server selection strategies that you can look at Google and study about them. So this is how a load balancer works. Now, how do we know that we need a load balancer? So for that also, there's this concept I have already talked about, known as hotspots. Hotspot. Now, when distributing a workload across a set of servers, that workload might be spreading unevenly. Just like the above example, you have multiple servers here, clients here, and then you have servers. So there is the load balancer, and when it comes here, now this is the load balancer, these are our servers, and these are our clients. Now you see one thing here, that the hotspot is a place where you can actually get in a trouble if that particular spot fails. Now here, if this server particularly doesn't work, what will the load balancer do? It will assign it to the other server. Simple as that. That's not a big problem. But what will happen if this particular load balancer dies? What will happen? All the things will come to a pause, a big pause, and the whole system will go into vain. So for that, what we can do? We can even assign a load balancer for another load balancer. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 2 and 3. Now you can have 2 load balancers here. And similarly, it can assign things. So suppose you go and you say the load balancer is busy, so you can go here. And or even you can have one more load balancer here, which assigns you to the perfect load balancer, which is going to give you the best server available. So this particular thing can happen if your hashing function are suboptimal. Don't worry, we are going to talk about hashing function in the next video. But some servers will receive a lot more traffic than the others, thus creating a hotspot. Just like the India-US example I told you above, just imagine if this particular place, if this particular server is receiving 80% more traffic than the other two. Now this is a hotspot. So what you can do, you can replicate the database 1, 2 and assign one load balancer here, that whichever database has less traffic, the client will be redirected there. So this is how the whole concept of load balancing and load balancer works. I hope you have understood how load balancers work, why are they important, and why to use them. So in the next video, we are obviously going to talk about hashing and like different ways of hashing, and there are a lot of other concepts. So thank you for watching the video. Thank you and have a nice day.